Trainer's Library, the power of learning.
In this article, you will be introduced to one of the methods that presents an idea of competences to different groups of learners, and at the same time, it will invite you to reflect on your own understanding of Ets Competence Model for trainers.
Trainer's Library, the power of learning.
The method we are presenting in this article was exercised during one of our trainings. The practice proved its simplicity and powerful learning outcomes. Why should the Competence Model for Trainers, CMT, be introduced to the group of learners? Until 2008, the professional trainer in the field of non-formal education was uncategorized and unrecognized. With the work of several people and a one-year-long research project came the list of competencies which are reflecting dominant strengths in a field of trainers' work in non-formal education. All materials concerning the model are on the official website of Salto Training and Cooperation RC. What is competence? According to Ets Competence Model, the term competencies refers to a system of values, attitudes and beliefs, skills and knowledge that can be applied in practice to manage various complex situations and tasks successfully. Confidence, motivation, and well-being are important prerequisites for someone wishing to successfully apply developed competencies. Set of competences. There are many sets of competences, and each of them reflects the character of a particular profession or level of personal development. There is a set of competencies for nurses, technicians, educators. There is a list of 31 core competencies in life, and many more. The set of competences, as a recognized language of quality, helps in analyzing the needs of the market and accordingly supports in designing a new curriculum. The term competence was not clear at the beginning. Initially, in the middle of the 20th century, there was a term formation, then qualification, and finally in the early 90s, it was agreed upon to use the term competence. The aim of competence was to serve the general categories of learning achievements. Nowadays, competence became the mutual language across many professions and educations worldwide. The Ets Competence Model defines 7 competence areas: understanding and facilitating individual and group learning processes, learning to learn, designing educational programs, cooperating successful in teams, having a meaningful conversation with others, intercultural competence, and being civically engaged. The competences are described with criteria and indicators. According to a publication, a competence model for trainers working at an international level has tools to get started. The quality criteria are principles or standards that help you assess how effective and successful you are in different competence areas. Each criterion describes the level of knowledge, skills, and attitudes desired. The indicators are obvious levels and elements and behavior, which demonstrate that you meet the quality criteria. They describe actions and reactions expressed in terms of ways of thinking and approaching a task, applying knowledge, ways of doing things, putting skills into practice, ways of expressing emotions or attitudes. On the official website of Salto Training and Cooperations, there are several materials and tools introducing a practical side of competencies. One of them would be mentioned before. A competence model for trainers working at an international level has tools to get started. It helps to learn how to use the competence model in different ways and for a variety of purposes. Competence-based education replaces the conventional model in which time is fixed and learning is variable with a model in which the time is variable and the learning is fixed. CBE is built around clearly defined competencies and measurable learning objectives that demonstrate mastery of those competencies. During a training based on competency-based learning, It's Up to Me, organized by Intercultural, we introduced a new method, the Competence Hunting, which is an interactive way that introduces an idea of competences and provokes interesting discussions, also inspiring for the trainer. The Competence Hunting method. Competence hunting is designed for 10 to 50 learners. First, exploration walk across the room divided into 7 sectors of competence model for trainers. Each sector has a name of competence, several guiding questions, and quotes from a competence. Participants are invited to walk freely and talk, trying to explain how they understand particular areas. Second, interview, finding mutual understanding in a group. The participants sit down in the random sectors. A trainer approaches each sector and interviews 1 to 2 participants. How do they understand this particular category of competence? Third, my treasure or competence. Participants are asked to go to the sector of competences where they feel the strongest. Go to the sector in which you feel the strongest and most confident as a trainer. Participants are asked to look around in order to understand who has similar competences, or treasures, in a community and who has a different one. Fourth, competence hunting. Which competence would you like to develop or improve? Participants are asked to go to the sector of competences where they feel most curious or where they would like to develop this competence. Participants are asked to look around to understand who has similar needs in a community and who has a different one. This is the first step towards a learning community. Each one teaches one. Your personal growth as a trainer during this workshop. The key aspect of this method is to allow yourself to be open to unexpected comments from a group of participants. By listening carefully to the conversation around the competences, you may feel the power of it and have a wider understanding.